You're watching 7 News at 5 with Erica Kenner.
We have finally gotten a chance to see what life is like for hundreds of immigrant children living on Fort Sill, and that story is first at 5. Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday evening. I'm Erica Kenner. Today, media was given a chance to tour that facility. No cameras were allowed inside, but news reporter Sid Starnes walked through the facility and has a full report on what it was like. Sid. Another disaster for Malaysia Airlines as a plane was shot down just this morning. Well, it's one of the biggest days in a teenage girl's life, turning 16. But last night, an Antioch Sweet 16 birthday party turned deadly. I spoke with the birthday girl who says she never imagined her special day would end with the killing of her friend. It's not easy trying to rob a truck while it's moving. A group of alleged thieves are caught on camera trying to pull off something, well, you only see in a Hollywood movie. Okay, so here's how not to rob a truck. 'Tis the season.
Pool weather. So I'm looking forward to that.
Pool weather. Yeah. Oh, Lord. Well, make sure you get your pedicure. I
can't get in the cold water. I need that bath water.
Well, make sure you get your pedicure because nobody wants to see some funky guy toes.
Oh, I don't get pedicures, but I mean, I take care of myself. I think I do all right.
You heard it first.
I don't know what that means. I'm not saying I do extra stuff. I'm just saying I think I'm okay.
Stop now.
All right.
This is 7 News in HD.
They kept telling us they're going to kill us. If I don't find money, I'm going to kill you.
A scary morning for a Lawton family after two teens broke into their home at 30th and Bell, holding them hostage at gunpoint while searching the house for money and guns. That story is first at 4. Thank you for joining us. I'm Erica Kenner. Around 8 this morning, Paul Alverson, his wife, and nephew say they were held hostage for more than 30 minutes. It all started when Paul noticed his back door was open. When he went to shut it, a male tried to force his way in, but Paul stopped him. The male then shot through the window. Paul's nephew heard the commotion and snuck into a closet to call 911. He was pulled out by the suspects before he could talk to dispatchers. Paul says his family was then held at gunpoint while the suspects searched the house.
They covered all of us up with a blanket.
So you guys couldn't see the face and stuff?
Well, I figured they'd fix them to execute us before they got out of here.
Police later showed up to investigate the 911 hang-up and saw the two suspects running away. One was caught immediately, and the other that you see here was later found hiding under a deck in a nearby backyard. The suspects' identities have not been released because they are juveniles. All right, Katie, thanks. The Stevens County Sheriff's Department is investigating an overnight shooting near Velma that left one man dead. And around 2 a.m., deputies responded to a possible hit-and-run accident. They were told a pedestrian was laying in the middle of Baseline Road near County Road 2987. But when they arrived, they saw the man was dead from an apparent gunshot wound to the head. And deputies were able to retrieve a high-powered rifle they believe was used in the shooting. The man's name has not been released. Sheriff Wayne McKinney says his department is treating the shooting as a homicide investigation. We'll have more details tonight at 6. A van T-bones an SUV, causing it to spin out of control, hitting a light pole, then flipping over. The accident happened just after noon today after the van failed to stop at a stop sign. Tow trucks came to take the totaled vehicles while firefighters cleaned up the debris. Police say one of the drivers had to be taken to the hospital. He is expected to be okay, but his injuries could have been much worse.
The solo occupant of the white Honda SRV was temporarily pinned in the vehicle, and Lawton Fire was able to extract him. He was transported to Comanche County Memorial Hospital with minor injuries.
There's no word yet on whether any citations will be issued. Police are looking for a man who robbed a VFW post in Duncan. It happened Monday night. A man with a knife walked into the post during closing and demanded money. He hit a woman working there, knocked her down, then made off with more than $2,000. The man was wearing a stocking cap for a mask, so the victim wasn't able to get a good look at his face. But he was wearing a black shirt and blue jeans. Well, a man is in jail after leading Lawton police on a chase. This is him, Leslie Todd Emery. Lawton police tell us it all started around 9:30 last night when Emery took off after officers tried to pull him over for a traffic stop. He then led the officers on a short car chase until he crashed into a curb. At that point, police say he ditched the car and ran. But officers were able to catch up with him. He was arrested and booked into the Lawton City Jail on traffic violations. He also had several warrants in Oklahoma and Cleveland counties. Well, the 8-year-old girl who was in critical condition after falling into a lake in Altus has died. Last night, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol says the child was wading in the water with her grandfather when she stepped off into some deep water. Troopers say the grandfather was able to get her out of the lake and start CPR. She was taken by ambulance to a medical center, then airlifted to Oklahoma City. The girl's name has not been released. Heads up for all you Waurika residents. City officials say the water will be shut off tomorrow as crews work to replace a shutoff valve on the water tower. No word on just how long the water will be off, but officials say it could last all day.
This house was hit hard by this storm. Most of the roof to this house is right here in front of the house, and then when you walk inside you can see the true force of this storm. Right here is the dining room, but if you look up, there's no roof to be had.
That's right, guys. This is a massive effort by Putnam and DeKalb County joining forces to try to handle this. Now, law enforcement is actually keeping us away from the scene of the fatality, which is really only one street over from where they are. They say that this is going to be an all-night deal because the streets are actually washed away from around where that house was. Now, what they tell us about that house is that the house was actually twisted and then thrown off of a hill. So what they've done is they've called in rope rescue teams to rappel down to that house to survey the damage and check and see if anyone else is injured. Now, today we spent most of the day over a falling water road where crews spent the day trying to cut down trees that had fallen on the street and get to one of the other hard-hit areas.
It happened within seconds.
Came out of nowhere. Just started picking up a little wind and some raindrops, and all of a sudden I heard the wind picking up and picking up.
Griswold was just inches away when a tree came crashing through his home.
So I was standing in the hallway right next to it and watched it come down and started exiting as quick as I could.
Just up the street, Amy Benkowski and her fiance made it in the basement with seconds to spare.
Just got really loud, like it shattered our windows. It swung open one of our doors that was bolted shut, and there's broken glass all inside the house.
And when the rain cleared, the familiar song after the storm rang in the air. Crews took more than an hour to cut their way through Falling Water Road, where there is just one way in and one way out.
When I walked out, I was amazed. I mean, every tree here is down, every house has got some type of damage, some minor, a lot of them major.
But folks in this part of town say the good thing is nobody in their area was seriously injured, and they have that to be thankful for.
Now, right now, rescue crews are actually over doing a press conference. That's where my photographer is. And another hard-hit area that we want to tell you about over here in DeKalb County is called Puckett's Point. Again, we want to tell you that there is one confirmed fatality. It is a female. We don't have any other information about this woman, but we will try to bring you more as it becomes available. Back to you guys.
Shot twice in the chest, 30-year-old Jeffrey Renfro was loaded in an ambulance and was rushed to Vanderbilt Medical Center in critical condition.
The guy come in the store hollering, called the police. I've been shot and laid on the floor.
Store clerk Sharon Bryant said she called 911 and did what she could to help Renfro.
I put a rag to his chest and till the police got here.
While police received the 911 call from this Hunter's food store right here, the actual crime scene, well, that happened right here at this Phillips 66 gas station across the street.
And right in front of the eyes of Eric Briley and the lens of the gas station's camera.
There was a guy walking out of the car wash, walked right up to a car, had a gun drawn, shot at the car.
Scared and wondering what the shooter would do next, Briley prepared for the worst.
I have a carry permit and I already had my gun drawn. I didn't know what he was going to do.
And neither did Renfro, who, while being shot at, reversed into a gas pump. Wounded, he jumped out of the car and ran across the street. The gunman jumped into the car and sped north on Clarksville Pike. The suspect made it to Stevens Lane and Homeland Drive, where he bailed after the car got stuck in a ditch while he was trying to turn around. Police used K9 units and helicopters to search the area. But after a few hours, they say they lost the gunman's trail and had to call off the search. Crime scene investigators looked inside the stolen car for any clues that may lead them to the gunman. Erica Schaefer, Fox 17 News.
We was just having a quiet evening here at the house and decided we would pick some stuff up.
But the evening would prove to be anything but quiet. While carrying a bed frame into the house, Tanya Birdwell slipped and fell, fracturing her ankle and splitting her knee in half. The only one at home was her 6-year-old son, Tavin.
And Tavin started screaming, "Mama, your knee," and I looked and blood was just squirting out of it.
Calmly, Tavin let her know everything would be okay.
I said, "Mom, I'm going to do my best."
Tavin ran in and out of the house as quickly as he could, grabbing first his mother's purse, then a towel and the phone. All the time, his little mind was racing, fearing for his mother's life. Because you see, the only time Tavin had seen that amount of blood was in the movies.
Because when I watched a movie and I see that, the end of it, when people do that, you know what they do? They die.
But not when a hero is in the movie. This just happened to be real life. The hero, a 6-year-old, standing just over 3 feet tall, weighing in at 50 pounds. With the towel, Tavin held his mother's wound, trying to get it to stop bleeding. When he realized he couldn't force enough pressure with his hands,
Sit down on top of the towel to try to put enough pressure on it, and me telling him, because I was scared I was fixing to pass out.
Tavin sat on the towel praying until paramedics arrived. One of the first to arrive just happened to be Tanya's nephew, who was shocked at his little cousin's actions.
It amazes me. I can't fathom how he done what he done that day, but thankfully he did.
There's no way to describe how proud I am of him, because he's a little boy that don't do well with anybody being hurt. Blood, anything freaks him out.
But this time, the first grader did what most boys his age only dream of, being a real life hero. In Palmer, Erica Schaefer, Fox 17 News.